To be content and happy in your singleness does not mean that you have to let go of the desire for marriage. Hello and welcome. My name is Heather, and on my channel I talk all about faith-based dating and relationships, how to date with confidence, and prepare for a thriving and healthy kingdom marriage. I would love it if you would join this community and hit that subscribe button and notification bell. I currently post every Wednesday and Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern time, and I would love it if you would join along. And if you are on Instagram, be sure to follow me over there as well. I'm on there daily and love to share lots of extra content and chat with you guys. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Today's video was all about how to be content and thrive in your single season. And this is something that I myself really struggled with when I was single. I didn't learn to thrive and be content until almost the end of my single season. And so I wanted to share this with you guys today because I know this is so tough, this feeling of waiting, of being in limbo. So I really want to share some things that helped me along the way and hopefully just offer some encouragements and help you to make the most of this season. But before we jump in, I just wanted to quickly talk about what it means to be content in your singleness. I don't want you to hear that and think that you have to get rid of your desire for marriage, or that you have to put on a front like you're happy and you don't care if you get married. That's not what I'm talking about. Your desire for marriage is from God. He made us to want community with other people. And if you desire marriage, then I believe that that desire is given to you from God. And until that desire is no longer present, then I believe that He's most likely going to bring you a spouse. Now, will it be in the exact timing that you thought it would be or that you would like for it to be? Maybe not. But most likely, if you have that desire, I believe you're most likely to get married. And statistically, most people do end up getting married that have the desire to get married. So I hope that that brings you some encouragement. And I just want you to understand that to be content and happy in your singleness does not mean that you have to let go of the desire for marriage. All right, so all of that being said, let's jump into my first point, and that is to focus on your God-given purpose. This is the prime time for you to pursue the things of God. In the Bible, Paul talks about how singleness is a gift and that he wished that everyone could be single so that they could do the things of God and that they could do the work of God without having a family to worry about and without having children to worry about. It's the prime time for you to be able to have the time for that and to really figure out what it is that God is calling you to do. And aside from the joy that you'll get from doing the work of God, that will also help you to not be so focused on marriage to where you're making it an idol, or to where it's making this season feel so much longer than it would. Because when you're so focused on marriage and you're so focused on the timeline, then it's going to feel a lot longer. It's going to feel like more of a prison sentence rather than a time of freedom where you can really and truly fully dive into what God has for you. Because ultimately our purpose is to serve God. And the more we focus on that, the less that we'll be caught up in feeling sad or feeling lonely or feeling like, why me? You know, why am I still single? When we're focusing on the things of God and the things that He has for us. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not still going to have those days or you feel lonely or you feel discontent or you wonder where your husband is or why you're still single. You will have good days and bad days, and that is completely normal and that's completely okay. But if we keep our focus on God, then I truly believe you're going to have far more good days in your single season than bad days. All right, and then number 2 is to work on yourself. Again, this is the best time to do the things that you need to do for yourself, whether that's healing from past traumas, whether that's reading books or taking classes or whatever it is that you need to work through or that you want to improve on. Because anything that you are dealing with as a single person is only going to be amplified if you bring it into a dating relationship or marriage. Believe me, And once you're married, it's going to be a lot harder to work on those things because it's not just going to be all about you anymore. You have a whole husband that you are making time for and that you're working through things with as well. So take the time in your single season to work through those things, to get healthy. If you have addictions that you need to work through, if you have money habits that you need to improve, this is the time to do it and to become a whole healthy person as much as possible before you get married. And you'll be so happy that you took that time and worked on those things, because then when that date comes, it'll be just that much more beautiful and that much more special, and you'll be able to focus that much more on the marriage rather than on any issues that you had to deal with. All right, and then number 3 is don't wait to pursue the things that you want to pursue or do the things that you want to do. If you have a desire to travel around the world, then do what you can to make that happen. If you have the desire to buy a home, then go ahead and start working towards that on your own. Don't think that you have to wait for marriage or for a spouse to be able to do those things that you want to do. If you have big dreams, start doing the things that you can today to make those things happen. I don't think you will ever regret working towards the things that you want to work towards and pursuing your dreams. If anything, if you wait, you don't know how long you'll be waiting. You don't know if it will ever happen. Like I said, I believe it will if you have that desire, but you don't want to keep waiting and putting things off because of some future event when you could go ahead and do those things now and find fulfillment in your life now. And then when you do get married, again, it'll just be that much better because you'll be bringing these things into the marriage, these accomplishments into the marriage. And then your spouse can come alongside you and lift you up and build you up and help you with those dreams that you've already established. But don't wait. And again, when you're pursuing those things and making your dreams happen, then you're less likely to be making marriage idle and to be feeling sad and lonely because you're out doing the things that you love to do. One of the things that I am so glad I did before I got married was to pay off a ton of debt. I took the time when it was just me before marriage, before kids, and I worked like 3 different jobs and ended up paying off about a little over $20,000 worth of debt in less than a year. And that was debt that I was not bringing into our marriage that we then had to worry about. So whatever you can do now that you can pursue and that you can work on, this is the time to do it. All right, and then number 4 is to work on your mindset. One of my favorite verses in the Bible, I believe it's Philippians 4:8, but it talks about whatever is lovely, whatever is noteworthy, focus on those things. That carries over into our mindset. We can use this time to work on having a positive mindset, to focus on the things of God, to focus on the things that are positive, and to believe for good, to believe that there are good men out there, to have a positive view of relationships and marriage, to have a positive view of men. Because if you have a negative mindset, if you have a negative viewpoint, you don't believe that there are any good men out there, you have a negative view of relationships and marriage, then that's going to be your reality. Whereas if you believe for the positive, if you believe there are good men out there, if you believe that there are plenty of men, then that's what you're going to attract. Another verse in the Bible talks about taking our thoughts captive. So if you're finding that you have all these negative thoughts when it comes to men or when it comes to relationship or marriage, this is the perfect time to work on that. Read through scriptures, listen to podcasts, listen to some of your favorite preachers or influencers or whoever it may be can speak positivity over you and light into these areas and light into your life. And if you have to cut out anything that is causing a negative influence or causing a negative viewpoint. There was a time in my single season where I completely cut out secular music because it was affecting my mindset and affecting my viewpoint on certain things. Same thing with movies. There were certain movies that I wouldn't watch because I knew that they were affecting me in a negative way. So you really have to try to be proactive in this area, really guard your heart and your mind, and surround yourself with positive influence because you're responsible for what you allow in your environment and what affects your mindset. All right, number 5 is to pray for your future spouse. And I did this a lot when I was single. I had prayers that I wrote down in my journal, and there was even a book, I can't remember exactly the name of it, but it was full of prayers for your husband, but I would go ahead and read through that and read those prayers for my future husband. And I actually have that book still today that I do read over my husband now. So I'll link that for you guys below if you're interested in that. But it's just a really good way to do something proactive. And it gave me a sense of hope for my future and for my future husband, and helped me to believe for that. Because even though we don't want to make marriage an idol and we don't want to put all of our focus on a spouse, I think it's a good thing and it's a healthy thing to have the belief that there is someone out there for you, and to have that belief that marriage is going to happen for you. And another good thing about it was it helped me to focus on the type of person that I did want to be my husband, so that when the wrong man came along, I knew to keep on walking and to stay focused on what I knew God had for me. And number 6 is to enjoy your hobbies. One of my favorite things to do when I was single was to country dance. I absolutely loved dancing. I still love to dance, but now that I'm married with a kid and pregnant, it just doesn't really happen that often, or really ever anymore. But that was something I loved to do when I was single. It was fun. I would do it with friends. I would learn all of the different moves and flips and spins, and it kept me active, and it was just something that I really enjoyed. And along with that, I really loved to paint and draw and make things with my hands, and I just don't have as much time for that stuff now that I have a family to devote myself to as well. And I'm not saying that once you get married and have kids, you'll never be able to do your hobbies anymore. In fact, I think it's really healthy to maintain that even in your marriage. But the reality is that you will never have as much time as you do now in your single season when you don't have a family to worry about. And that was really the time that I was able to thrive in those things and to really dive into those things that I love to do and hone those skills, or even learn a new hobby. I loved learning languages. And there was this app that I would get on every morning and try to learn different languages. And if you don't already have a hobby, this would be the perfect time to find one and learn new skills or learn new things, explore things that you're interested in. Maybe you've always wanted to learn how to cook or take up running or something like that. This is the perfect time to really dive into those things. And again, not only will you be bettering yourself and doing the things that you love to do, but it'll also help take some of that focus off of feeling like you're just in this waiting season. And then number 7 is to reframe your expectations, your timeline, all of the things that you felt like should happen at a certain time or in a certain way. Try to let go of that, because when you let go of those expectations, then you can relax more into the season. You can let go and just live life for what it is right now. And maybe even think about what would happen if it didn't happen by a certain age or by a certain time. Would it be as bad as you think it would be? Because when you let go of those expectations, you free yourself from that worry and that fear and that anxiety. And you can just allow yourself to live in the moment, live in the season, and make the most of what you have right now. I know that's easier said than done. I mean, even still, do I wish I had have met my husband earlier when I was younger and could have started having kids sooner? Yeah, that would have been awesome. That would have been more ideal in my mind. But God's timing truly is perfect, and He has a purpose for everything. And had I gotten married right out of college, I wouldn't have been ready, if I'm being honest. I was not ready to be a wife. And God knew that. There were things that I still needed to experience. There were things that I still needed to go through in order to be where I needed to be and who I needed to be for the man that God had for me. And now to be a mom to the kids that He has for me. So try to let go of those things and know that really and truly His timing is the perfect timing. And He will bring you your spouse at the exact right time when you're both ready, and it's going to be beautiful and amazing. So that is it for today's video. I hope that you found these points helpful. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments if you have any tips of your own to add that you feel like have helped you in your single season, so that we can all encourage and uplift each other. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye. That you don't miss a video, so that you never miss a video. From relationship for self-review.